Hey guys. Okay, so I thought this mini lesson was actually pretty fun. I think all that we've done in our other curriculum classes is we've just done mostly like big lesson plans and using the Danielson format, and I like this format because I thought that it was getting across everything that we needed to do, but it seems more realistic, like something we'd actually do when we were out in the field. I'll just set this up right here. So the lesson plan that I chose to do was I chose the shape and concrete poetry for my lesson plan. I thought it was fun, and being an art minor, I thought it was something that I could integrate into an art class and still learn poetry, or just even doing something fun and kind of artsy. So I thought 3rd and 4th grade would be the best level for this. And the name of my lesson plan is Shape and Concrete Poetry. I think it would take probably about 20 to 30 minutes. So some of the materials you'll need is legal size paper, scrap paper for your draft, pencils, crayons, or other coloring materials like markers or Sharpie markers, or you could even maybe use paint if you wanted, but I think that maybe would be a little messy. And you would need some printouts or other examples of works that other people had completed, just to show some examples. And the book that I incorporated into mine, or the poetry book that I incorporated, was Wet Cement, A Mix of Concrete Poems. I thought that was kind of funny, just the name of it, because it's because the poetry is shape and concrete poetry. The book is by Rob Ragza, and in the book it's a poem book, but it's also it's like in concrete poetry, your poetry follows the shape of what you're doing. So say you're doing a poem of a rainbow, well, you would have your rainbow, and then you'd probably have your poem words in the rainbow or something like that. And in this book, he uses the concrete cement pourer as a way to follow his words and stuff like that. So the objectives for my lesson plan is that they'll be introduced to and they'll understand the concept of shape and concrete poetry. They'll write a 20 to 25 line poem that's based on the format that they chose. I gave you the example of a rainbow. Another example that I think was in the work that we had to look at was a whale. So you could do the outline of a whale, and then you could do all your shapes in it like that. Some vocabulary words that I thought they would need to know was the actual definition of shape in concrete poetry. The definition of a shape. I feel like by grade 3 they would know what shapes are, but just something maybe you would need to go over again and cover. And the actual definition of poetry. Like I said, with the shapes, they probably would know a little bit about it, but you might have to go into more depth with it and maybe show them some videos or show them some examples and do some poem exercises and stuff like that. So like I said, I'm an art minor, so that's why I picked this. And in my Montana standards, there was a couple standards it could fall under, and one of them was an art standard, and that was that they organize and develop artistic ideas and work, enduring understandings. A, artistic designers experiment with forms, structures, materials, concept, media, and the art-making approaches. B, artists and designers develop experimentation and safety, freedom, responsibility while developing their creation. And C, people create and interact with objects, places, and design that define shape and enhance and empower in their lives. So yeah, I thought that this exercise would fall into a lot of categories. Like, you might even learn something about one of your students, like they pictured a house and maybe their poem was about not having a home and that they wanted one, some stuff like that. I think it could be a very empowering lesson, and you probably could learn lots about your students with it. And then the reading standard for literature, RL3, craft and structure, RL 3.5, I found. And it's refer to parts of the stories, drama, and poems when writing, speaking about text using terms such as chapter, scene, and stanza. Describe how each successive part builds on earlier selections. I thought this fell into this lesson plan because they're having to relate something to their personal lives or something they have interest in, and write about it and make a connection about it. So yeah. And then the background knowledge for my lesson plan. So it's background knowledge. How will you activate your students' prior knowledge on this topic? I said when activating their students' prior knowledge, the steps that you'll have to take with them to gain knowledge is, I thought maybe like prior to the lesson plan, you could hang examples in your room, do some decorating, do a bulletin board on poetry, something like that, just something that will get their attention. Like I said, because it's kind of an artsy work, I think lots of kids would be interested in it right off the hop just by looking at it. Sorry, I've been outside all day and gotta cover up my hat hair, so my head's itchy. Back to topic. I thought you could also watch videos. You could do, like, I'm sure on YouTube there's lots of little 5-minute clips that you could play just maybe for the kids that are done their work and stuff like that. I know in my kindergarten classroom, it is kindergarten, but my teacher will, they'll do their work and then she'll have a video playing, and then those who are done can go watch the video. So you could do that with a poem video, just little things to get them interested before you start the actual guided practice. In the guided practice, so I'm going to read the poetry book, Wet Cement, a mix of concrete poems. This book of concrete poetry is a perennially popular poetic form because they are fun to look at, and they're interesting. Like, they catch your attention. They're artistic. They're fun, to say the least, I guess. By using the arrangement of the words on the page to convey the meaning of the poem, so that's nice.